Don't do a first date like. I guess like don't go skydiving for your first date.
Well,
don't
yeah,
go
what if
bungee
you shit
jumping.
your pants?
Yeah,
like that's humiliating.
Wait, is that like
well,
pretty
I don't
high
know.
on the list of?
But I wouldn't want to go on a first date and shit my pants. There's no going back.
That's Sarah's first concern. Like skydiving. Whoa, think about the shit. Has anybody thought about the shit? We have a special intro for the Rom-Com Rewind podcast today.
Do we?
We do.
Oh,
How familiar
okay.
are you with AI technology, Sarah?
Oh, not very.
So let's get rid of all the the housekeeping before we get into this. So basically, I told ChatGPT to write us an intro for this podcast.
Oh,
I'm gonna read that for you verbatim. Full transparency, took a quick look through. Looks like it's legit at some points, and some points it goes off the rails. So, you know the drill, though. If you want to reach out about anything on our podcasts, Instagram at Romcom Rewind, TikTok, become a part of the RCR fam. Just, we love to chat with you there, and we love for you to, just dive into what you like, what you dislike, just conversations around the podcast. So, without further ado, your friend Devin told ChatGPT take the descriptions from the Rom-Com Rewind podcast and make an introduction to an episode on, well, we'll find out what it says. So this is what ChatGPT gave us. Welcome to the Rom-Com Rewind podcast, where we revisit and deconstruct the most beloved romantic comedies of all time. In this episode, we're diving into the action-packed romantic comedy This Means War. Good job, Sarah. And uncovering the layers of its thrilling love triangle. I feel like ChatGPT was like, let's just get synonyms of shit they normally say.
And go with it.
Join us as we explore the high-stakes world of two CIA agents, Tuck and FDR. It doesn't say this, but they're played by Chris Pine and Tom Hardy, who unknowingly find themselves dating the same woman, Lauren, played by Reese Witherspoon. With friendship, romance, and espionage colliding, we'll dissect the intricate dynamics that unfold in this unconventional romantic comedy. So wordy, ChatGPT. Throughout the episode, we'll delve into the themes of trust, honesty, oh, will we? And the delicate balance between love and friendship. Are you ready to dive into those things?
The delicate, yeah.
We'll discuss the complexities of navigating relationships as Tuck and FDR compete for Lauren's affections, resorting to elaborate schemes and clandestine tactics.
Woo!
ChatGPT just has a great dictionary, I think is all it is.
Thesaurus.
It goes on for another 6 more paragraphs.
Oh my God, really?
Oh, I know. It's a very long.
Wow.
Oh, do you want me to keep going?
No.
It is very intense. This Means War isn't just a battle for love. It's a showcase of growth, forgiveness, and the power of second chances. We'll analyze the characters' journeys, examining how they confront their own vulnerabilities. I love how ChatGPT just assumed, here's all the shit you're probably going to talk. We're going to talk about none of that in this episode, but thank you for that intro. Why don't we dive in, Sarah, to This Means War? I think is that a good enough premise? It's two spies fall in love with the same girl.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
It is. And the crazy war that they have between the two to kind of win her heart.
Oh, ChatGPT ends it.
Oh, yes.
Puts it a nice little bow on it. Says, don't forget to grab some popcorn, sit back, and join us for an entertaining and insightful exploration of This Means War on the Rom-Com Rewind podcast. See, mistakes right there from ChatGPT. You're assuming this is going to be entertaining. You're also assuming we're going to be insightful. I'm not sure on either of those counts, but giving us way too much credit. Thank you.
What are you doing on the computer? I photographed my girl. I was doing the same thing. You want to see her? You got 3. 1, 2, 3. That's Lauren Scott.
I feel weird about dating 2 guys at once.
You think Gloria Steinem got arrested and sat in a jail cell so you could act like a little...
I think I'm going to hell.
Get out there, you get flexible.
You know what? You date her. Besides the fact, if I got in the picture, it wouldn't even be fair. I'm sorry, what does that mean? I think we should lay down some ground rules. I think we should. I don't think we should tell her that we know each other. Let's stay out of each other's way and just let her decide. May the best man win.
All right, so this movie, it's funny. It's like the male version of Bride Wars for me. And Bride Wars has Anne Hathaway and Kate Hudson. And they're fighting over not a guy, but they're fighting over a certain venue for their weddings. And they basically sabotage each other throughout the entire movie. And we haven't done this one yet for the podcast, but it is on our list, and we are very excited to do that one. However, this is kind of like the same type of premise, I feel, but more like spy espionage and like obviously two guys fighting over a woman. It was fun. You know what? Like, I think I like this one better than The Killers. It's kind of along those same lines, or other spy espionage type movies. Reese Witherspoon, you know what? I think we've done a few in the last little bit of her, and I really did not like her in Your Place or Mine.
Correct, yeah.
I like her a lot more in this, but I find she actually kind of somewhat does the same character.
Yes.
She kind of has the same personality or character in all of them. Doesn't know what to do about the guy, or like, you know, that kind of thing. And it might be like the damsel in distress kind of situation, but I just kind of found it, especially with this movie, after having done a few in the last little bit. However, back to the actual movie.
Well, real quick, while you're making that comparison, there's also the 2010 romantic comedy How Do You Know?
Oh, God, yes, which was
Owen
not
Wilson,
my favorite.
Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
Like, once again, it's a love triangle. I feel like her character in this is a little bit more vibrant, but kind of similar in some ways, too.
Is it? I didn't like that movie. So
I was going to say, How Do You Know? She was very deadpan for a lot of that. She gave us a little bit more energy in this one. Yes. Yeah. And like, you know what? I am a big fan of Tom Hardy. Give me some Tom Hardy in a movie and I'm good to go. Love Chris Pine as well. We just recently saw in theaters Dungeons and Dragons, which was really good. And I have never played Dungeons and Dragons before. I don't even really know what the game is about, but it was just a really nice, fun, action-packed movie. And Chris Pine was really good in it. I really liked him. I like him in a lot of things. I loved him in the Star Trek trilogy that they did for movies, but I did enjoy their characters. I thought they portrayed them really well. The haven't gone on a date in forever, doesn't really know how to date, and is totally a romantic Tom Hardy, to self-absorbed, you know, just cares about himself, wants to show off all the money and like the luxury life. Chris Pine. I enjoyed them in this movie. Yeah, it is. It's really entertaining. It's solid. It's probably one of the best of the action rom-com genre outside of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. I just think they kind of hit a lot of people on an upswing too. Like, Reese was obviously a star by 2012, but Tom Hardy is going to be playing Bane later on this same year. Peaky Blinders starts the year after this, and that took a few years to get big. He was in Mad Max in 2015. Yeah. He was in The Revenant, Venom. Like he was like a name. You're like, oh shit, Tom Hardy. But like, I feel like when this came out, he was really like rising. I would agree. Cause I think too, there's another Mad Max coming. Did you know that? Yes, he's not involved though. No, he is. Oh, is he involved? Yeah. Well, I looked on his IMDb. There were some weird stories of, because him and Charlize Theron hated each other on sets. Like, openly despised each other. Which, like, I don't know how you could hate Tom Hardy. Well, I think think about where they shot all of that. They were basically in the cab of a truck for like 90% of the filming. Yeah. So, but you're right. Very, very tough guy to hate, you would think. And then I would say the Chris Pine, like, similar to all that, like, he had been in a Star Trek movie when This Means War came out, but he would go on to go in 2 more Star Trek movies. Jack Ryan, the love interest in Wonder Woman. Like, oh my god, how can I forget that? Right, like, such a good movie. He was a name, and you're like, oh, Chris Pine. But like, once again, this movie kind of came, and he's only ascended even more since then, right? Yeah, and I think they both got better. Yes. Right? Like, and I mean, I'm talking about like the male characters in this movie. Like, both Chris Pine and Tom Hardy, they got better as time went on and the more things that they were in. But yeah, sorry, just back to the Mad Max thing. Yes, Mad Max, The Wasteland, it's in production and he's Max. Real? Oh, he's reprising his role as Max. Yeah. Because I heard that there was going to be a Furiosa prequel movie. Right. That was a thought as well. I did hear that as well. But yes, and then he's pre-production for Venom 3. I also find action rom-coms, like in a typical rom-com, you can have B-list actors and actresses, and if you give them a really great script or a compelling story, those end up being fantastic films. But with an action rom-com, the only ones that ever really hit and hit well is like, you got Brad Pitt and you got Angelina Jolie.
Right, like
or
a
you
bigger
have
name.
Yeah, or you have Bruce Willis, or you have
J-Lo.
like night and day, Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz. You know, yeah, J-Lo,
Like for Shotgun Wedding, you know.
Totally. You kind of need that, like, this person is a star.
The name.
Yeah, and I think this film kind of obviously had Reese, but also had two people who were stars and would only increase their stardom
From
more.
that point. Yeah, from that point on, yeah. So the movie opens at, the opening scene is at a party where the bad guys try and get away on a helicopter. But we have FDR and Tuck who take them down, and they're told by their CIA, I guess, person that they have to keep it on the DL. Like, this cannot be like publicized. It has to be kept under wraps. Just get them and we'll be done. Well, sure enough, it is not. The bad guy, the main bad guy, Heinrich, his brother falls off of the roof and lands on a car and dies. And so that is kind of the catalyst for the evil villain side of the movie, which is Heinrich wants revenge and is out to find the two guys. So we also meet Lauren. She has no life other than her job at this point in time. She's not dating anybody. She is a product tester and she's got a sick job. Like, that is so cool. I would love to do that job. Basically testing all of the products that are in your like local hardware stores. How fun is that?
That is the lamest thing you've ever said. That's
What?
You just want to test products.
I think that's so cool. You're testing headlights on like cars. You're testing like how fast vehicles can go without falling apart. You can test like, I feel like it's that like that TV show that used to happen where they used to like demyth things like Mythbusters. Yeah.
Oh my God. You
Yeah.
are sensationalizing product testing.
I
This
am.
is-
It's cool.
That's such a Sarah thing to like too. Like, I just want to ask you questions about your air fryer.
I do. See what the craziest thing you could put in an air fryer is without it melting or like whatever. That'd be so cool. Or like what the heat, the amount, how high the heat could be. Like so many different things you could do with these. I love it.
Fascinating.
Super cool job. But her job is her life at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
So back at work at the CIA, the guys are in trouble. Basically, the director has told them, like, you guys are grounded. You no longer have anything to do with this case. This guy is going to come after us now because, like, you killed his brother publicly. Like, everybody knows about it. And now we have to do damage control. You guys are not having anything to do with this. So they're kind of bummed. They're like, okay, well, what are we going to do? And so they're just like, hanging around. This is kind of where it starts to like go through the whole like dating thing where Chris Pine's character FDR kind of convinces Tuck to go and put himself on a dating website. We then go back to Reese Witherspoon's character, Lauren. She is walking, probably after work. She's just singing along with her headphones in, hilariously. Like, I don't do that. Have you ever done that? When you go on a walk and you have headphones in your ears?
Yeah.
Are you like singing or dancing out loud? No.
Never.
No. I don't know who
100%
does
of people
that.
do not do that. Yeah, no.
Like, I find like that is like a piece where, again, like it's such a Reese Witherspoon character. Like, she would do that. They would write her to do that.
I feel like, although with that said, we have had people reach out on this podcast, talk about how they walk around and laugh along to us.
I would hope so. Like, not that we're funny. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, like, I do that with podcasts that I listen to.
Yeah.
And I'm like chuckling and laughing. I'm not dancing down the street and singing along.
Do you think those people feel weird? They're like, bah, ha, 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 in public? And it's
No.
like, what are you listening to?
No, I don't think so at all. I don't think that's different, I think. But
Shout out to my favorite of those stories, by the way, is that girl who does like, she works in the forest somewhere.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
it
yeah,
like,
yeah.
And she listens to us like on blast. And
Yeah.
I'm just picturing like some hunters or somebody walking through the forest and they hear us blaring off the trees. That
Yeah.
would be concerning,
well,
I think.
it's also to keep bears away, which like I totally understand.
We are your bear repellent.
Exactly.
in
Who
the
needs bear
woods.
bells when they have us?
Sorry, bear bells?
Bear bells. Yeah.
Are bear bells a thing?
Yes, there's bells that keep away bears. Yes, they're called bear bells.
Stop.
Yeah.
Are you lying?
not line. It's a real thing. There's like bear like mace,
Yeah,
but
of
there's
course, bear
also
spray.
there's bear spray. Sorry, I don't know why I said mace. You like a mace a bear because that's how close you can get. No, no, there's bear bells. The more I say it, it sounds weird.
It does sound weird. I'm gonna fact check that in a little bit.
Okay, please do.
Lauren does meet somebody important though on this walk. We get to discover
does.
Lauren's ex.
Yes.
So Lauren runs.
Steve. I was just about to say I don't remember his name, but Steve.
Lauren runs into her ex. Classic moment running into the ex. The ex has already moved on to a different person. It's very awkward. And at the end of the conversation, Lauren awkwardly explains away like, oh yeah, I'm just like going to meet my significant other, whatever. She walks to her favorite Asian restaurant. Who sits down beside her?
Yeah.
The ex ended up there as well. And, and they're like, oh, are you not waiting for so-and-so? And then the server is like, oh, no. She only ever orders for one, Miss Lauren. I have for you.
Okay.
Worst stories of seeing your ex.
Oh, God, these are going to be good. Okay.
This person says, I bumped into my ex and his mom and sister while I was out shopping. This was the first time I'd seen him since he dumped me 10 months prior. It was awkward because his mom decided to hug me and say, your boy still loves you. While I just nervously laughed and felt grateful. She was actually moving like cities. She was moving away the next day.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is really awkward.
Like, leave it to moms. Moms are the classic, like...
I know, they totally are. Like, they'll... Especially if they really like that person, right? They want you back in the family. Like, an ex... I was
going to say, do you... Oh, an aunt? What? That's like extended family now, Sarah.
And like, she's wonderful. I love her. After I broke up with the guy, his aunt reached out and said... You, oh my God. You can't pick your family, but you can pick who you want to, whatever. She said, if you ever want to date someone, like if you're ever ready, just let me know. I have somebody. I have a guy.
She's really trying to keep you in the family. That's creepy. Wow.
Can, like, date. Anyway, I actually thought it was really nice.
I mean, it is nice.
She's like, it was like,
it's not a little weird though. I
really liked you, like that kind of thing. Like it was just like along the lines of like, you can't pick your family, but you can pick who you want to, whatever. I don't know. But yes, so she reached out to me and I loved it.
This person says, I had just gotten out of wisdom tooth surgery and my ex was in the waiting room.
Oh, yeah.
Sarah, how well do you respond to that kind of stuff? Like
anesthesia.
Anesthesia. Not well, hey?
Yeah, no, not well. Not well, hey? No, not well at all. My face completely froze.
Maybe you would be as bad as this person because she says, I was not over him, and because I was looped up on so much drugs, I started crying saying how much I loved him.
Oh, no, that's so awkward.
Her mom had to drag her out.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. This story involves my husband's ex. We got married last October, so February was our first Valentine's Day. We decided to go to a small restaurant for drinks and dessert. The restaurant is associated with a speakeasy bar, which we had always wanted to try out, so we decided to go there after dinner, and it happened to be having a burlesque night at this bar. We had a few drinks and we're having a great time. Then they announced the first burlesque dancer and we were shocked because who was it? It was the husband's ex-girlfriend was the dancer.
That's hilariously awkward.
Isn't that wild? Like, Sarah, what do you do as the girl? Like, oh my God, that's your ex on stage and she is imminently taking her clothes off.
Well, I think he's obviously already seen it. So like, it's not, it's
wow.
right. Like it's nothing that like,
how understanding, Sarah.
Well, what are you going to do?
Well, you can leave.
Yeah. But then that just shows that she like clearly has something over you. Like,
True. So
right. Like why would you
just sit
and
there
especially
because
like you're married to this person. This person has no longer a connection to this other person. It is super awkward. And like, it would be probably like, oh my God, taken aback. And like, I can only imagine you sitting there watching your husband's ex take off their clothes. Like that's awkward. Sitting there watching and in your mind knowing like my husband's seen all this.
He's seen all this already.
But like
intimately.
not super awkward. Like not like,
You would be remarkably understanding about that, Sarah. I was not picturing that This person says, I was working during orientation weekend at my university.
Okay.
Have you ever done campus tours?
For you.
Oh yeah, you brought me on a campus tour.
But you know
of
what
your
though?
old
I was
university.
a resident advisor.
That's what I mean,
in
like-
university. So I didn't do tours. I didn't do campus tours, but like I knew the campus very, very well. And so like I would take my students around.
Due to my position, I was the only student working with transfer students while my ex was transferring to the school.
Oh no.
Had to spend 8 hours guiding him and his parents around the campus.
Oh, that's really awkward.
Within 2 weeks, he
transferred
left.
out?
Yeah, he transferred back out again.
Oh my God. I feel like that was a small university then because like, if they're gonna
He withdrew from the university.
wow. I feel like that would be small though, because if like that's really a bother seeing your ex, like there's some other things going
It's a
on.
lot of time spent together. I had to take, at my college, I had to take not my ex, but my ex's ex.
Oh.
Like I had dated this girl. I was aware because like I was aware of who he was.
Right.
And then when her and I broke up, like, cool, whatever, moving on with my life. Like 3 weeks later, her ex was doing a tour that I had, like, through a certain part of the college, I had to give them.
Oh
a
no.
tour. So it was very awkward. Yeah. Ooh, this one's rough. I was fooling around with a guy once, and he thought it would be a good idea to invite one of his friends over for a threesome.
Oh God.
Turned out to be my ex.
Oh my God. No. Okay. No, that is awkward. That is really weird. Again, same situation as like, yes, you've seen them naked, but this situation is different.
Yes, this is different.
This is like, you know, one almost has the leg up because
a leg up. Interesting
because
choice
like
of words.
they already know, you know, what they like.
True.
Versus the other,
True.
you know?
Oh, stop doing that, man. She doesn't like that at all. Go over here. Do this instead. This person says, I was buying pregnancy tests at my local big box store. I came around the corner with 3 boxes of tests. How many pregnancy tests do people usually buy?
You know what? It's
like do you actually like, I'm going to just get a ton.
okay, so I know a friend buys pregnancy tests from Dollarama or from the dollar store. No. Like I think they're actually legit. So
I still wouldn't trust that. Are you kidding?
But like they're only $1.25. So like you buy a lot of those and then you try them, and then when there's a positive one, you then go out
then
and
go
you
get the
spend
good one.
because
Okay.
like they're like 20 at least in Canada here, like they're $25
For a box?
for
or
one.
What?
Yeah, like around that, like give or take like $5-10. But yeah, like they're very expensive. So like what they did was they would just go to Dollarama, get like a heaping load of them, and when there was like they were trying to have a child, obviously.
One would hope. Yeah, wild Saturday night. You never know.
Woo!
Gotta load up.
So then, yeah, when they would get a positive one, they'd go and
Oh my God.
they do have multiple children. So, and yeah.
Okay, so the story continues on. Okay, picture her running around a big box store. So maybe she was getting them cheap. I ran into the ex and his new girlfriend.
Oh, that's awkward.
Like with all the pregnancy
yeah,
tests.
that would be like, I'm just gonna slowly fade into the shadows.
Yeah, well, you're in an aisle at a grocery store. It's
Yeah.
kind of like she's like, then I had to walk back out of that aisle because
Yeah.
just bye. So we've established Lauren
Yeah.
did not have a good experience meeting her ex. And then we jump back over to Tuck. So in the background here, Lauren's friend, don't even know her name. She's played by Chelsea Handler. Trish is trying to convince Lauren to jump on a dating site.
Right.
Meanwhile, Tuck is, we meet his ex-wife, played by
Katie.
Abigail Spencer, Katie.
Love her.
Love her. Oh, she's the greatest.
She's
isn't
gorgeous.
She is so pretty. They have a son together, but she's kind of moving on, dating other people, whatever. So Tuck is like, I'm also gonna jump on this dating site. And actually, Trish does it against Lauren's will. So Lauren walks into work the next day, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, you're on a dating site."
Okay, this was
kinda dramatic.
This was really funny. Like everybody knows the joke, but you don't. Like you're on the outside.
Super awkward.
I would have been mortified had somebody done that particular dating site for me. like that particular profile, because like I think to a lot of guys when there's a keg stand, when you're doing a keg stand and then there's like I want a serious relationship, no, those don't coincide. Like they don't go together.
Yeah, no
Do
kidding.
they? Like I guess I should ask a guy. Keg stand and then like I'm a gymnast and then I really want a serious relationship.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but it all comes through because Lauren's on this dating site and she sees, oh my God, there's Tuck. Well, she doesn't know it's Tuck, but she says, wow, that guy, I could date him.
Yeah. And so they end up going on a date and they really hit it off. They're both kind of hesitant at first. Lauren's like, you're not a serial killer, are you? And he's like, no, and maybe. I haven't killed anybody this week, which is actually true because he's a CIA agent.
Yeah, very tongue-in-cheek, as the audience is aware that he's being very coy.
Yeah. And so they hit it off. Like, it's really great. And then right after, Lauren goes to, I believe, the HMV to rent, or a music video store.
Yeah, it's just some video rental store, and she runs into Chris Pine's character, FDR, who just randomly hits her with, like, she's about to grab a movie, and he's like, no, not that one. You should do this one. And they start talking movies. And it turns out she is a film aficionado, but Lauren is also clever enough to realize that he is playing everybody in this store. FDR, do you think guys actually used to do this at like a Blockbuster? He was scoping out the video store.
That would be creepy.
To try to find his date for the night.
I think maybe it's because now I would think that that's creepy, because like I'm thinking I'm going to go there by myself. I'm probably in sweatpants. Like when I would be like hanging out, you know, whatever, like just watching a movie, I would either go there, but I'd never go there alone to pick out a movie. But I also wouldn't go home with somebody who would pick me up in a movie rental place.
But Lauren's thought process is correct, because she's like, you have a captive audience of people you know are not busy tonight.
This is very true.
You have no plans. You're renting a movie, girl.
I totally get the logic. I do. But I do find it creepy that like I would never go home. Like, okay, if I had never met you.
Yeah, sure.
And we're in a Blockbuster.
Sounds great.
And I'm like, you know, looking hot, just picking out movies, because you wouldn't talk to me if I was in sweats. Like,
yeah, okay.
Not,
if you're looking like Lauren, you just got off a date, you're at the video store.
Yeah, and I'm looking at, I don't know, The Parent Trap or something, and just like movies and whatnot. And you came up to me and was like, oh, I don't think you should get that. I think you should get this one, blah, 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 and try to pick me up. Like, I wouldn't go home with you. That's weird.
Really? What if I was Chris Pine, though? Sarah just stared off into the distance. Oh no, I hadn't considered that.
Like, are we talking like actually Chris Pine or just like a character of Chris Pine?
Like this guy, FDR, suave, good looking. He is Chris Pine.
Well, okay. I have to put myself into like the whole bar scene. People have gone home with people who they just met at the bar. Right. At least you get a movie out of this.
At least you get a movie. Those people had been drinking, but you're right.
True.
You're right.
Okay, so you know what? I guess the possibility, there is a really complicated matrix here, because like I believe it now. I'm talking myself into going home with somebody I met at a movie store.
I'm glad what we established on this podcast is that if Sarah was single and I walked up to her at a video store, she'd be like, no. If Chris Pine did, she's like, well, now that you, oh shit, I don't know.
No, I would go home with you. But like, I'm also establishing that like, I don't think I would have in general, but now I'm talking myself into it because it makes sense from a bar standpoint. Sure. Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like somebody's like, I don't know. I just like picture somebody coming up. Okay, so like the other piece would be like somebody at a dinner table eating alone, and then somebody coming up and serenading them and saying, "Would you want to come back to my place?"
Oh,
That is like my worst nightmare.
Yeah, I was gonna say serenades for Sarah. That's a write off.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So now we have, and both guys are unaware of the other's interest. So now FDR's like, I think I like this girl, but she just ditched him at the video store. So he does a little bit of sleuthing with the CIA and figures out where she works.
Yes, uses the CIA resources to find her, and like pretends that it's part of the Heinrich case, who's the bad guy in the movie, who like barely gets any airtime. But yeah, like it's a thing. Like, you're using CIA resources to hook up with a girl.
Is it
bad form?
Is it the return of the character of Judge Sarah. Judge Sarah does not think that is a proper use of government funds, ladies and gentlemen.
Correct. I don't think it is.
Correct.
Yes,
Indubitably.
like we are taxpayers and we are paying, I don't know, like, I mean, we have like an equivalent of the CIA, but like, I feel like tax dollars go to the CIA as well as the FBI, right?
Certainly.
Okay. So
where do they get their funding?
Right. Same page,
Running
same
drugs
level.
in
no, like
countries.
That is like a no. You can't use CIA spy resources to try and date a girl.
Well, that's what FDR does, and
Yes.
he shows up at her workplace where she's testing out. She's doing like a focus group on
She's
ovens.
doing more testing.
Oh my God, more testing.
A barbecue.
Oh,
She's doing a barbecue, by the way. Just letting you know.
And he basically keeps on interrupting her. He causes enough of a ruckus in this focus group that she reluctantly agrees to go on a date with him.
Correct. So at work, the two guys end up like turning their computers around to each other to say like, this is the girl I'm dating. This is the girl I'm dating. And it turns out that they're both now dating Lauren.
Dun, dun, dun.
So they decide that they have to figure out, like, set some ground rules for them, and that if it ever affects their friendship, they'll stop. They also both use CIA resources to get to know her better. I say that with disdain.
Yeah, they both have teams of guys working on it, telling them this is level 4 classified or whatever, but it's a bit the Heinrich case.
Exactly.
Best love triangles in romantic comedies. Sarah, your nominees are
Okay.
Bridget Jones's Diary.
Ooh, yep.
We have Bridget Jones' Diary. We had Hugh Grant, Colin Firth.
Yep.
Twilight's Bella Swan, Edward Cullen, Jacob.
Yep.
Were you team Edward or Jacob?
I actually really liked Jacob, and I find, I don't know.
Yeah, you're
the story
a dog person.
The story
That's
kind of
fair.
went like weird when they like did the whole imprint thing of like Bella's daughter when she's like a baby, and like Jacob, who's the same age as Bella, falling in love with the like. It's just it's
that
weird.
was where it got weird.
It was weird. No, okay, there was
From
a
a
lot
bystander, it was weird for a while, but like
there was a lot weird with it. Okay, I mean it's a fantasy, like
we're
not
getting a new
sci-fi, but, like,
series, right?
we
When
are
we doing that.
Well, it's funny because like when you said Twilight, I'm like, oh, like my gosh, I think all the movies are on, like I don't know what they're on right now, but like I was like, oh, maybe I should watch them or read the books again.
We're getting
Anyway,
new shit. You're good. I'm gonna put The Notebook on the list.
the love triangle for The Notebook.
Because remember, she loves Ryan Gosling. Who's that guy in all those romantic comedies? I can't
James
remember.
Marsden.
James Marsden, that's right. She ends up with James Marsden for quite a bit.
Right.
Our girl Rachel McAdams, but ultimately goes back to Noah. If you're
Okay.
a bird, I'm a bird. Got Crazy Stupid Love. My boy David Lindhagen.
Oh, that was a good one. Okay.
Kevin Bacon. Steve Carell. And then I'll throw at you The Holiday. Because remember, Kate Winslet's character,
Oh.
she's still, like, her editor back at work
Yes.
is a love interest, and then she meets Jack Black.
Yeah. Okay. So, Crazy Stupid Love.
As number one?
No, sorry, Bridget Jones' Diary, number one.
I was going to agree, Kevin Bacon.
Well,
I mean, wow.
and then I'd say like Twilight for sure. Like
gonna
that
say
was like a big one. That was like
Twilight?
because it was intense. She was in love with like or liked them both. Or
It spanned also like 3 freaking movies.
yeah,
Well, in a
four
part
freaking
two
movies.
of-
Yeah. And then Crazy Stupid Love.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. All right.
FDR goes on a date with Lauren and he brings her to a club, which like is literally, in my opinion, one of the worst places to bring a date.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I have in front of me.
Of course you do.
You know what? I actually didn't have it for this part of the pod because I think we go on worse date locations later. So you know what? That's a little tease. It's what we call a hook in the biz, RCR
okay.
fam. Well, that's coming up. You keep talking about this date and I'll get to that.
Intrigued. Yes. Okay. So they go to a club and he tries to like wine and dine her by like walking in the club, going to the very front of the line, saying like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like blah blah, blah pretending. Well, not
He's
pretending.
not even dining her. He's
Sorry,
just
yeah.
showing up like a hot shot, which makes you look like a bar star.
He looks like but he also looks like a douche.
Yeah.
Like he looks way too cocky.
Oh, hey, I know the DJ. We're just gonna. Oh,
Yeah.
Sam's here. What's up, Sam? Oh, yeah, I'll see you later. You know,
100%. It's just like it was icky and
yeah. It gives the ick.
Totally. And Lauren's like, no, this is not for me. So she leaves and he chases her down. Is like, why are you leaving? And she's like, you're not the guy for me. Like, this is not my scene. This is not, my jam. So he's like, no, totally it is. And she's just like, you know what? We're just going to leave this here. And so she starts to walk away, but then guess who she sees?
The ex.
Steve. So Lauren ends up running back to...
Oh. There you are.
Oh, Steve. Oh my God, that is so funny running into you again. This is my boyfriend, FDR.
Huh.
He's the surgeon that we were talking about.
Huh.
Yeah.
Neurosurgeon. I'm the department head at the Children's Hospital.
Wow, that's amazing.
He is. He's really amazing.
Stop it.
Amazing.
He plays the part. He even purposely starts mistaking Steve's name.
I loved this part.
It's not my best scene, but I would say that's my best. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. That is my best scene just because of that. I was like, hey, Stu, great meeting you. And he's like, it's Steve. And he's like, yeah, well, whatever. It's just rude enough that he can get away with it. And also, like, clearly, FDR is thinking on his feet. He understands the scenario. We got to make this guy feel bad and feel jealous.
And he definitely did. Like, you could see on Steve's face, he was now jealous of what was happening. So they end up going off they end up continuing the date, and they go to a pizza place, and they actually end up hitting it off. So FDR and Lauren, they are on the rise. They are really hitting it off. They're really enjoying, hanging out. The two guys assemble teams, and I say this because there's like two sides to it. It's hilarious. There's like one group for FDR and one group for Tuck. This is my best scene when they do recon later on that night, in Lauren's apartment, and the music playing, and just like this entire scene of like her being so just not even like aware of what's happening, but also to show that like they're CIA agents, like they're super good at their jobs, but like it's like cheesy. It was really cheesy. I
was
loved
gonna
it.
say it's fun and it's entertaining, but it is on the. We got some fromage here. It's definitely cheesy.
It is equivalent to a Sarah montage, because I didn't get a montage in this.
Except it's a spy montage.
Exactly. And I liked it. I liked the cheese. So both Tuck and FDR's teams, they end up calling them both, letting them know that Lauren has called an emergency girls' night with her friend Trish because she's having a hard time dating two men because she wouldn't know who to choose. So they have a little focus group because like literally that is Lauren's life. So she gives herself a deadline of 1 week to decide who she's going to pick, either FDR or Tuck. During this like emergency meeting, and like this was almost my best scene because I think this is hilarious because sometimes this is 100% what girls talk about. Lauren dove into how
I think there is one thing. FDR has these tiny, like, girl hands, like little T-Rex hands.
Gross. That means he's got a Mike and Ike for a penis.
You know that's not true. You've seen it.
I thought that was really funny, and like the whole girls' night. And on the other side of things, the two guys are listening to everything that's going on, and they're laughing at each other, and it was really cute. So each guy takes what they learned from their recon teams and uses it for their dates with Lauren. So Tuck takes her to the Speedway, or what is it called? I don't know. I just called it the Speedway, to drive a Camaro and, the racetrack. How about that?
It's a racetrack.
Racetrack, a Speedway. I don't know. Anyway, so she gets to drive a Camaro, and then FDR takes her to an art warehouse where her favorite artist's paintings are. And she's just both like wooed so much.
At another point, Tuck also brings her to, because she knows gymnastics, and I guess he does as well. He's a CIA agent, so clearly he's skilled.
He definitely knows gymnastics.
They do this trapeze moment where they're swinging from thing to thing.
They're in a circus.
Which is like, I'm just wondering, we as the audience don't see the conversation, but like, how do you ask a girl like, hey, you're into gymnastics? why don't you go on up there and hang from that little rope and swing over to me, who's going to be hanging from the... No girl says yes to that.
Well, and not only that, like, I did gymnastics, and that is not, like, something I would like to try on a date.
Entry-level shit.
No. Yeah, and you know what? When they walked in, I was like, they're not going to do that, are they? And then they started, and I'm like, yeah, they do it. They really do. And it is like, that's exactly not entry-level shit.
So, can we now talk about the weirdest, like, locations and venues, like just spots for a first date?
For sure.
I have on the list ice skating rink. I guess the implication is, what if they're shitty at skating?
Oh, I don't think that's terrible.
See, because we live in Canada, so that's why we're like, hey,
most people know how to skate.
Keep your stick on the ice, man.
For the most part.
How about a first date at a wedding?
Oh no, that's terrible.
Because that does happen.
That is horrible.
That is like I think about How I Met Your Mother, how Ted Mosby, they stopped giving him +1s because he keeps on inviting the random girl he happened to have gone on like 2 dates with to the wedding.
Yeah,
and then they're like, and now we need to cut her out of all the photos because, like, who the hell was she?
So awkward.
100%.
And I think I've talked about this before. An ex, their aunt would make sure that the significant others were all standing on the outside of the picture so that if they ever needed to cut it, like if they ever broke up, they could just cut the photo.
That's hilarious.
Yes. So I would either be taking the photo or just like stand on the outside.
And to be honest, like, I've been the boyfriend in those situations. Like, we had been dating for a bit, and maybe this was a tip of the hand on Devin's part, but I would be like, oh, you know what? You guys should get some without me. Yeah. And maybe, you know what? I never thought about it. Maybe they were like, what? He's not in this for the long haul. Because I probably wasn't. And I was even thinking that, like, you guys want pics without me. Trust me.
I'm going to pull the shoot anytime now.
She has no idea, but you're gonna thank me later.
Well, another ex, I was in the yearly calendar that was provided every year.
Time out.
Yeah.
What yearly calendar?
Well, so like there was a calendar, a family.
The family makes a calendar.
The family made a calendar every year, and they
Sarah, how have we not heard of this before?
I don't know. I just thought of it right now.
You were in a family calendar.
Yeah, I was.
Some other family's calendar.
Yes, and we had broken up after.
Holy shit.
Later that year.
Oh my God.
And I kind of thought about it briefly, but now like it's a little weird looking back on whatever year it was, and you see me and him and the whole family.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Was it the same family where that aunt you mentioned before loved you?
Family.
Different family. I was going to say, because that would be why the aunt's just going through the months like, oh,
No.
Sarah.
It was a different family. Well, and it wasn't like class pictures of just me.
But it's you and the guy, right?
Yeah. And like,
Dude, how awkward is that?
I know. And I think like other family, but yes, it was extremely awkward. Thinking back now, I guess.
Oh my God.
It's just a treasure they'll always have.
What? Thank God those are only relevant for 12 months. Imagine, like...
Right? Well, I'm sure the grandma keeps it.
God, what families do calendars? I'm so curious.
Actually, I know a lot of families, and I've thought about doing it.
Sorry, for our family?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to just take an opportunity right now to put my hand up and say I think that's a horrible idea.
Well, but you might get one.
Back to weird dating locations. A shooting range is on the list. Yeah, I feel like that's like you kind of need to. What, you have a story about this too?
I actually went
kidding?
to an archery place for a date one time.
Okay, archery you can get like
it was also a shooting range.
Oh, it was also a shooting range.
I think there's like another area for it.
But you know what though? Like
we shot archery.
I would assume by this like it means like with guns, which like some people
no.
Right.
No.
Might be uncomfortable.
No, actually, now that I think about it, I think it was just an arch, like a bow, crossbow, like, or archery place. Yeah, we shot archery.
See, that would be cool.
It was actually really fun.
That could be a lot of fun. This person says at an extreme sport, don't do a first date. Like, I guess like don't go skydiving for your first date.
Well,
don't go
what if
bungee
you shit
jumping.
your pants?
Yeah.
Like that's humiliating.
Wait, is that like
Well,
pretty
I don't
high
know.
on the list of.
But I wouldn't want to go on a first date and shit my pants. There's no going back.
That's Sarah's first concern. Like skydiving? Whoa, think about the shit. Has anybody thought about the shit?
But what if you're so scared
I guess you're right. That's not my first thought when skydiving. My first thought is the chute gonna go and will I die? Like, that's kind of my big concern.
Well, you're not going by yourself.
True.
Like, especially on your first time
Wow,
skydiving.
you think like I might shit myself right now. That's your primary concern?
Well, I don't know how scared I would be.
Okay, all right. Good to know. We're learning a lot. You know what? I'll just end it there because that one was a great way to end that.
You're welcome. So one night, Lauren's drinking wine with her friend Trish again, and FDR overhears that Lauren feels that FDR is great, but that he really only thinks of himself. So the next date, he brings Lauren to a dog sanctuary to adopt a dog. He ends up adopting the oldest dog there so that he doesn't have to stay with the dog too long. But because he wants to show her that he's responsible for something other than himself. For Tuck's date, he brings her paintballing because Lauren had said during this conversation that he's too safe.
So this was my actual best scene is Tuck just...
Annihilating?
Annihilating was the literal word I was going to use, Sarah. He eviscerates these children. They're in a bunker. He's throwing like paintball grenades at them. He's tearing kids off towers. He's just, destroying them.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
So the next date with Lauren and FDR, the next part of this movie comes down to the sex tiebreaker. The next set of dates, Lauren has decided that she's going to have to sleep with them in order to make this, 1 week thing work where she makes a decision in 1 week. So the next date with Lauren, FDR brings her to his Nana's house and they tell stories of FDR. We find out what happened to his parents and he's very wholesome. The whole thing is very wholesome. And then they go home to Lauren's house and they do sleep together. The next day, Tuck brings Lauren to pick up his son, Joe. And Lauren says, you know what? I have a great idea. Let's go to my work and we'll have some fun. So they spend, again, this is like my dream. They spend the day like breaking things and testing a whole bunch of like different toys and crazy cool like sprinklers and like it's really fun. And then Tuck drives Lauren home and you think that they do kind of sleep together. And before they do, Tuck tells Lauren that he is in love with her.
Drops the L-bomb.
Big words.
Wow. And at the same time, he ends up crushing all of FDR's like surveillance in the house. He destroys it all. So FDR could only assume
they did sleep together.
It happened, yeah.
Right.
The next part of the film, I was actually pretty sad about it because now FDR and Tuck, they're no longer friends. They were best friends at the beginning of this film, and now they're like transferring out of the department. They don't want to speak to each other. We're done. And in fact, Tuck actually gets a phone call from Lauren, so he's kind of gloating a little bit. It appears she has chosen Tuck.
Yes.
He goes to this restaurant to meet her. Meanwhile, after he leaves, FDR is going through some surveillance footage with his friggin' team of guys, and he noticed the big bad guy, Heinrich, is in the background of one of these photos they took with, it's Heinrich? My bad.
No, you know what? I don't know. I may have been saying it wrong the whole time, and I apologize.
Could be either or. Anyway, he's in the background of one of the photos, so FDR's realizing, like, holy shit, I think he's tailing Tuck and Lauren, so he goes to the restaurant to tell Tuck about it. So, of course, worst case scenario for Lauren, both guys I'm dating are all of a sudden here, like, why is FDR here? She runs to the washroom. FDR tries to explain to Tuck while she's in the washroom, here's what's happening.
You have neither the grace nor the humility to lose like a man, do you?
It's Heinrich. He's in LA. We have to get on it right now.
Do you know what? You are incredible. No, really, you are. I have to take my hat off to you. This is very impressive.
You listen to me. You have to
You
listen.
take your hands off me.
This is not a talk.
Take your hat off me, mate.
They end up getting into this full-blown fist fight. The entire restaurant gets cleared because they're just destroying the place. Meanwhile, Lauren has learned, oh, you guys were friends. Was I just some kind of conquest? Was it a bet? She overreacts maybe a little bit. Still, though, that would be pretty jarring to learn.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's like unexpected.
And she tries to leave the place with Trish, but they get kidnapped by Heinrich. Or Heinrich, we're not sure. The big bad villain took them. She grabbed them, and now they're on the run.
They are. Well, they're driving along a freeway, and of course, the two guys chase after them, and there's like this whole like action scene of like a car chase and everything, and things are blowing up, and there's lots of shooting happening, and it's a high-speed chase. And at the end, she makes her decision by choosing FDR.
Yeah, they're both like, come to me and I'll save you. No, come over here. And she chooses FDR, which is a nice way to wrap up the movie because what ends up happening is that Tuck, I don't understand how he could have been married to Abigail Spencer's character and have never told her once that he is
a CIA
agent. Yeah, Katie, his ex-wife. So his son and Katie both see Tuck like on the news and they're like, is that dad? Is he like a super spy or something?
He is not a travel agent.
He is not a travel agent. Your dad's a super spy. So that kind of rekindles the relationship there, which is nice because everybody, this is a classic Sarah ending. Everybody ends up with the person they're supposed to end up with. Tuck ends up with his original wife, FDR and Lauren. They're together. The bad guy's in jail. We're happy. It
was a great way to end the movie.
And then we get a little fast forward of them about to jump out of a plane.
Yes. Yeah, I love the fast forward. I love the after, you know?
Oh, Sarah just needs to know.
I do.
Send me out 1 year. What's happening? Well, here's what's happening. They're still CIA agents together.
They are.
FDR's about to propose to... Oh, no, he has proposed to Lauren. They're engaged, and he wants Tuck to be his best man.
We do find out that Tuck actually never slept with Lauren.
Yeah, and that FDR secretly slept with...
Katie,
Tuck's wife.
Before they knew each other.
Which I was almost like, did you need to have that in the movie?
I know.
That just makes him a little bit more slimy, and I kind of forgot about the slime.
for a brief second.
Yeah, I put the slime out of my mind because he had this nice little redemption arc, and now he's like, and I slept with your wife, so like it's fair. You slept with Lauren.
Yeah.
Tuck's like, I didn't actually sleep with Lauren, so that is not fair. Quick facts.
Quick facts. The skyline city in the opening scene is not Hong Kong, but Shanghai. FDR calls Tuck about a Chips marathon. Chris Pine's father, Robert, was a cast member on Chips from 1977. The bachelor pad of FDR had to reflect his expensive and exotic tastes, so the production found a converted penthouse with a swimming pool in the ceiling of the apartment in the Chinatown district of Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. The pool had a glass bottom, making the pool visible from the downstairs dining room. When the production designer showed the apartment to the director, the latter looked up and was astonished to see the pool and a beautiful girl in a bikini doing laps, which had been prearranged.
I was going to say, there's no way that just happens coincidentally.
Definitely not.
What are your thoughts on that? Like, would you... I don't think I would ever swim in that pool if I knew somebody was already in the house. You know, because it's just creepy, like, oh, you're in the dining room and you can see me swimming.
Yeah, like it's, you see it all.
Unless you're very confident.
Right. Like if you, bang and bod or pure confidence, you're in that pool.
Yeah, maybe only if you're having like guests over, then yeah.
If you've had a few, you've the confidence in all the world, you know?
True, yes.
Lauren Scott and Tuck Hansen first meet at the Blarney Stone, which is a real pub located in downtown Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. It is known to be one of the busiest gastropubs in town. Making FDR and Tuck believable as CIA agents was tasked to Paul Maurice, a military advisor with extensive wartime experience who serves as the film's CIA technical advisor. Maurice worked closely with Pine and Hardy to give them a high proficiency in weapons handling and hand-to-hand combat.
Interesting. And he agreed like, oh yeah, it's very typical for two guys working in the CIA to use a drone to spy on each other on dates. That's all accurate. Hey, Paul?
And totally using CIA resources to, exactly. Like when that started, I was like, this is so against the law. Most of Chelsea Handler's lines were ad-libbed, including the mention of Cheetos and Mike and Ike's. The U.S. theatrical version was cut for some sex jokes to achieve the PG-13 rating. International theatrical versions were released uncut. However, the cut version was used for the home video releases worldwide.
See, this is so tough being in Canada because with box office sales, they just lump Canada into the U.S.
Right.
So
I didn't actually know that, but that's interesting.
They just lump us in because they're like, yeah, a couple more. But then, so in Canada, did we get the international version or did we just get the USA version?
That is a very good question.
We're always in a gray zone here.
I know that I didn't know that, but that's interesting. Sam Worthington, Colin Farrell, Justin Timberlake, and Seth Rogen were considered for the lead roles, but eventually, in the end, Chris Pine and Tom Hardy were cast. Bradley Cooper was cast but dropped out due to scheduling conflicts, and James Franco was offered a role but declined. Both guys on the singles website on each side of Tuck's picture are crew members from the movie. They also show up in the video store database as FDR is searching for Lawrence information. The members were Jay Mitchell, who was on set design, and Peter Stratford, who was the assistant art director. The video store scene took place at HMV on Robson Street in Vancouver, British Columbia. The HMV stores are now closed. Director McG revealed, I don't know why I say it like that, but McG revealed during the DVD commentary that Tuck's nickname comes from the character's love of Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Is he ever seen eating Kentucky Fried Chicken?
I don't think so.
Don't think so. That's just a fun little, like, we're building a character and here's a wild fact about him, and then they never fit it into the movie.
Exactly. I mean, I think it would have been pretty funny actually to have like a scene of him eating KFC. Like, I think that would have been really funny. I would have liked that.
I would be so interested to hear stories like that from writers who are like storyboarding these like movies or like I was reading this thing about Angela from The Office, how like it wasn't until like everybody knew like she went to church, but it wasn't until like season 3 or 4 that like one of the writers was like, hey, like we should actually make that like a bigger part of her character because literally nobody ever says it. We just assume it about her.
Yeah. And like,
because she gives off the vibe.
Exactly.
Like, oh, yeah.
It helps with the character development. Right? I mean, obviously, but I sometimes think that they leave things out. Like, I actually thought you were going to say Angela and her cats.
Oh, right.
The Beastie Boys song Sabotage appropriately features throughout the movie whenever the two main characters are sabotaging each other's dates. This is the second of 3 films starring Chris Pine to use the song as its marquee track. Star Trek in 2009 and Star Trek Beyond in 2016 featured the song prominently as sort of a theme for Pine's Captain Kirk. After principal photography had wrapped, director McG and his teams went to work film editing, music scoring, sound mixing, and putting the finishing touches on the movie's visual effects. Later, during this post-production period, they showed the movie to select audiences to gauge reactions and fine-tune the film. The screenings yielded outstanding scores, which revealed that the movie played to men, women, singles, and couples. This, and the ensuing positive word of mouth, led the 20th Century Fox movie studio to pick the unexpected 2012 year release date of Valentine's Day, which falls on February 14th, which was a Tuesday this year. Most films debut in the US on a Friday in time for the weekend. But for McG, the holiday release seemed perfect. He pointed out, after all, everyone needs a little action on Valentine's Day. When the film was submitted to the Motion Picture Association of America, the film was given an R rating due to some racy dialogue spoken by Chelsea Handler's character. It was later edited and given a PG-13 rating for sexual content, including references, some violence and action, and for language for the theatrical release. I was going to say, there are some lines that Chelsea Handler has that I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I feel like that's bordering the R, rating. I mean, now that I read this, obviously not when I was watching the movie.
It's also like evident that there wasn't a writer writing her stuff. She just started ad-libbing it, and I'm sure they ended up in the production booth like, holy shit, do we have any good takes of her saying it? No, all inappropriate. Oh, okay.
Great.
Well, let's see what they say. R rating. Okay, let's cut some of this shit out.
Oh, God. The scene where Trish and Lauren Scott are shopping for laundry detergent near the beginning of the film was shot at a Canadian Tire store in BC.
Oh my God, as if.
I know. Production designer Martin and his team upped the spy against spy action by devising gadgets utilized by FDR and Tuck as they wage war against one another. His teams researched CIA weapons and surveillance techniques and made them even more high-tech and fantastic.
Can I make a comment about your last one, though, real quick? Because I did see a comedian recently, like an American comedian, making fun of Canadian Tire stores. So for our international listeners in the U.S. or like wherever, Canadian Tire is like, it's a Canadian department store that like, it started as like auto repair, hence the freaking name Canadian Tire. And now it's like... And you can also pick up appliances. Like, we got air fryers back
appliances, fishing, outdoors, garden center. What else? Like everything for your like light. They sell lights. They sell paint. It's everything.
And the joke from this comedian was like, what were they thinking? Like, we're gonna draw them in with the tires.
I was kind of surprised to find out they sell more than tires. I don't know why I would think they'd only sell tires. It's not like the store is called Canadian Tire. How important are tires to you people? You know how people love shopping for tires? We lure them in with the tires. And then, boom, we sell them a blender.
And like they have crazy sales too. Like you can get stuff that's like regular, like $100 for like 20, not even 10. It's crazy. Tom Hardy and Chris Pine have gone on to be in film adaptations of Tom Clancy's work. Hardy played Sam Fisher in Splinter Cell, and Pine played the title spy character in Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit in 2014. I'm surprised they didn't carry him over into the TV series on Prime. Don't get me wrong, I'm like happy about John Krasinski, but like I, also like Chris Pine. I'm just throwing that out there. Director McGee said it will come as no surprise that Pine and Hardy handled the high-octane spy action and stunts with skill and daring. But this means war audiences will see a movie first. Reese Witherspoon mixing it up with the boys in full-throttle action mode. Not only does she get to drive at excessive speeds on a military racetrack in a drop-head coupe, she flew on a swinging trapeze and donned a mask and firearm for an intense, ruthless game of paintball. By the end of the movie, Reese is at the center of the action.
That's what the director said.
Correct.
There's no way she was actually swinging on those trapeze like that. The actual exchange, maybe she swung for like 2 takes and they're like, all right, get on down here.
I'd love to know if she did her own stunts.
Because I noticed when they actually do like the exchange,
right,
you can't tell who the F that is. Those are stunt doubles.
This spy film inverted a common paradigm of the James Bond movie franchise where the character frequently had 2 significant relationships with 2 Bond girls in many Bond movies. This was commonly reflected in movie posters for Bond films where the tuxedo-clad character would be seen positioned between a Bond girl on either side. This movie reversed this methodology by having a character, a non-spy, Lauren, who is the equivalent of a Bond girl and dates in the movie 2 secret agents, and in film posters for the movie was seen positioned standing in the middle between the 2 attractive male spies. During the opening scene, one of the ladies asks FDR permission to come aboard, Captain. Chris Pine played Captain Kirk in Star Trek 2009, Star Trek Into the Darkness in 2013, and Star Trek Beyond in 2016. Trish calls Lauren from a children's play center, which is a real place called Crash Crawlies. It is located near a freeway, which can be seen through the windows. Tuck's real name is listed as John Harrison on the dating site. That makes this the first time that Chris Pine clashes with a character called John Harrison in the movie. Pine, who played Captain Kirk in Star Trek Into the Darkness, where he battled with Khan Singh, who is played by Benedict Cumberbatch, who uses the alias John Harrison. Director McGee previously helmed the espionage action comedy movies Charlie's Angels from 2000 and Charlie's Angels Full Throttle 2003, and also helmed the action spy thriller drama 3 Days to Kill in 2014. As such, McGee has directed 4 spy movies as of September 2018. Intelligence agencies referenced and or featured in this movie include the CIA, Interpol, Special Ops, and the Mexico Sniper Squad, and the Mexican FDS, which is the Federal Security Directorate. Reese Witherspoon and Chris Pine appear together in A Wrinkle in Time, the movie from 2018. In one scene, FDR is watching the 1997 film Titanic. The director of photography of this film, Russell Carpenter, was also the director of photography on Titanic and won an Oscar for Best Cinematography on that film. Also, this film was released in the year 2012, and the 1997 film was re-released in theaters in 3D this same year to commemorate the centennial of the Titanic sinking in 1912. The name of the company for which Lauren Scott worked was Smart Consumer Inc., which was located in LA, California. An alternate ending was shot with Lauren ending up with Tuck. Another alternate ending was shot where Tuck and FDR are holding one another while Lauren is by herself on the uncompleted freeway.
So which ending do we prefer?
I don't know.
I think Tuck getting back with his...
Yes, with Katie.
That's pleasing.
Yeah, I agree. I think it all worked out. Rebel Wilson makes a surprise cameo as Tuck's fake sister. She is in the uncut version of the movie.
Honorable mentions.
Okay, my honorable mention is Chelsea Handler. She's not like my favorite sometimes because like her jokes are like really crude and things like that. But I actually liked her ad-libbing throughout this movie. Like I thought it brought another level to pushing Lauren's character along the path, because I think it would have been kind of flat, like Your Place or Mine, if it hadn't have been for Minka in that movie too, right? Like it helped along. She was needed, and I loved the way that they kind of made her character a little crude. Like I liked that.
Totally, a little crude. It is, now that you bring up Your Place or Mine, I think there is a funny, I'm not thinking about Minka, I'm thinking about Tig Notaro. It is like a theme in romantic comedies to cast like a pure comedian to be like, and you're just the funny best friend.
Yeah.
That's your role.
Because we know they're not super funny.
Yeah.
Everybody
like
else.
Kevin Hart, before he was a star, he was just like, you're the funny other guy. Like, okay, I'll be the funny other guy in the movie. Sure, why not?
Did they do a movie called The Other Guy?
Oh, The Other Guy. Well, there's The Other Guys.
Oh, okay.
Which is Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. Just when you said that, I was like,
He could have done a movie called The Other Guy.
No, I don't think he did.
He is that movie where he's like a best man for people who don't have friends.
Oh my God.
So
I've never seen that one.
Yeah, I think that one might be near what you're talking about. But my honorable mention is the entirely nameless cast of people who work at the CIA. Do you remember a single up? No,
I'm not.
A single one of the people who work for the CIA. Do you remember the name of the characters?
No.
They are entirely just randoms. And I just thought, like, it's both my what should have been and my honorable mention, because they all played a really funny part, but I have no idea who any of them are. And my what should have been is going to be, like, give me like an Ice Cube in 21 Jump Street. Give me like the angry CIA executive who's like well known. He's somebody big, and I feel like this movie
that would have been really cool.
Like throw a Samuel L. Jackson, and he's just like freaking, or like Liam Neeson, and he's just like, like just angry all the time.
Yeah, and give him like a little bit more screen time than like their CIA director had, right? Like just a little bit of a bigger part, and like kind of set more things in motion. My what should have been is that I wish, like, I get that the movie obviously was a rom-com, but I kind of wish that there was a little bit more to the villain story.
Yeah,
and that, like,
super random. We don't even know what his deal is.
Yeah, like it literally goes from, and we kind of didn't add this into our telling of the movie. He, at the very beginning of the movie, grabs a piece of FDR's suit and then goes to a suit maker in Italy and finds out where the owner of the suit that like it was made for was in LA, and that's why he goes to LA. That's why he's there. He tracks them down through like a piece of the suit that he gets at the very beginning of the movie. But like that's it.
Yeah.
Like all the other CIA agents are used to find information on Lauren.
Totally. And like also as the villain, like what is the motive there? Like your brother died, sure, but like I'm pretty sure most villains would just be like, okay, I got away. I'll just keep on doing villain stuff. Like I don't need to track down these CIA agents,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like the revenge piece, I kind of got, and I was okay with it.
Oh, you were okay with revenge.
But like
Sarah, pro revenge, ladies and gentlemen.
No, but like just like, and not a lot more of the villain piece, but just a little bit more. I could, and like the spy espionage, like it could have been like that. Lauren helped with like create some.
Oh,
like
you
consumer pieces, like that would have been cool. Like, I don't know.
Okay. Overall rewatchability. So And the only other quick what should have been, and I'll explain it here, is that I just wish there was a little bit more real chemistry between Reese and Tuck and Reese and FDR. There were times I saw it, and then there were times where I'm like, really? Like, she likes them? I don't know. I can't totally tell all the time. So I'm giving chemistry 2.5. I'm giving storyline 3.8. I'm giving thirst factor a 4.9 because everybody in this film is gorgeous. Imagination a 3.2. It's an idea that's been done before, not too many times. Soundtrack a 3, cheese a 3.75. I almost scored it lower. There were a few moments that were bad kind of cheese, but then there was some good cheese too. That gives an overall score of 3.52 for Dev.
Okay, so my rewatchability is chemistry 3.5, storyline 3.5, thirst factor 5, imagination 3.3, soundtrack 4, cheese 4 for an overall score of 3.88.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A much higher score.
I know, it actually surprised me. I didn't think it would be that high. So I think just individually the categories for me, it was a fun movie. I like the action rom-coms, I think.
Maybe we should do more. This has been the Rom-Com Rewind of This Means War. If you heard anything on this podcast you want to talk more about, maybe you have a family calendar and you don't think it's weird, feel free to reach out about that. That's cool. Or anything that you hear on any of our podcast episodes on Instagram at Romcom Rewind.
Thanks for listening.